everyone, Ivy Lee Gaming here, and today we're playing a Watcher of Realms. And today I'm joined again by Ash, a friendly face to the channel. Welcome again.
Ivy, what is up? I'm glad to be here. I gotta say, I've never told you this, but your "Hey everyone" intro, such a nice, kind, warm intro to every video. I'm just like, every time I click on one of your videos, and you're like, "Hey everyone," I'm like, Ivy, what's up? So it's glad to be here and hear it live. How you doing?
Uh, good, good. Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes I'm like sound raspy. I'm like, oh, let me do that again.
You have to do like do 4 takes of your "Hey everyone." Make sure you nail it
Yes,
for the
make
people.
sure it
Yeah.
sounds all soft and kind and ASMR-y, right?
That's
Oh,
funny. That's
man.
funny. But yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Well, today we're going to talk about some things that you guys might not agree with us. We might get a little hate in our comments for this one. But I have Ash joining me to talk about the heroes that we regret skilling. Maybe not entirely, but we wasted some resources on some people. Who do we regret wasting some resources on? So it's so account dependent. It's going to be an interesting one, and some people are going to love these heroes. Some people might agree, but yeah. Why don't
It's
you
gonna be
roll
good.
into it for us? Why don't you start with your first?
Who's
Let's
gonna
do
get the
it.
hate first? Me? Thank you so
Yep.
much. I
Yep.
appreciate that. Uh, you know what? I'll start with she was at a special summoning event at some point in the past, and it's Kaniza. Kaniza.
Yeah, I don't even.
So I was excited for Kaniza, primarily because she's Nightmare, and I'm like, okay, this is a perfect fit, for my Torador or Wrath teams. I can make like a really solid lineup here. And not to say that she's total garbage, right? Like in faction trials, I actually really like having her, right? I mean, obviously. But that being said, outside of that, I have not found value over replacement, even compared to most of my epics from Kaniza. She has kind of a weird kit, like the way it all
Yeah.
synergizes. I still can't exactly figure it. Like, you always run into this, right? With any hero, like, am I building them wrong or do they suck? Are they underwhelming? And I tried all different builds. I tried with gear swapping now. It's so much easier just to see, okay, is this what I need? And nothing really worked to get like really decent damage. We have an event going on right now, Ivy. There's like a DPS race and fighters are great in it, right?
Yeah.
And she's awful for me.
No.
Like, even if I
Yeah.
put my best gear on her, she does like a third of the damage of Wrath, in the same gear. So anyway, I regret building her. I don't really, again, outside of faction trials, I don't use her at all.
Yeah, when she came out, she sounded really interesting, and everything was so based on attack speed, and then she dodges if there's attack speed and all this stuff. So I tried building her with a ton of attack speed, like way more than normal, at least for at the time of my account, or pushing on the
Uh-huh.
test server. I gave her like 500 attack speed. I'm like, this will be cool. And it just still was like, I didn't get it. And I tried building her with normal damage, and she just did nothing for me in AMR compared to so many other heroes I'd recently tested. So I found her really underwhelming as well. So I'm sure some people love her, and there's
Yeah.
probably a perfect build and a perfect niche use for her at least. But I have to agree, I don't think I would invest much resources in her personally. Maybe if you like fully awaken her and this really unlocks some cool stuff, that might be an exception. But I
True.
can't
True.
see putting a ton of resources in her either.
Yeah, and to your point, that's all you need is one niche where they're really shining. So maybe in the future there'll be something, but I tried the same thing that you did. I tried like loading her with attack speed, that didn't
Yeah.
work, and then I went like attack, crit damage, that didn't work. I'm like, all right, we're gonna put you on the back burner for now, Kaniza. So yeah, that was my experience. Who you got? Don't tell us Salazar.
No, I would say at least at the she does help out Salazar a little bit, if just by having her on your account, but you didn't need to max her for that.
True. True. I don't have Salazar either. I wish I did, but
Oh, okay.
guys, that's a
He's fun.
double whammy for against Kaniza.
All right,
Who
well,
you
I
got?
think my first one is I'm gonna get a little bit of a hate. I'm gonna go with Razak. So
Ooh.
I've put quite a lot of skills in him, and for me, it's wasted skill dust. And I know a lot of people love him, but I feel like it takes him getting to his Awakening 3 at least, where at least he adds the slow, before I really consider him as good as Maul. And we've seen the damage tests when he first came out, my bucket paired up Maul, with Dolores, paired up Razak with Dolores, did the damage testing, and Razak just did not do as good as Maul. And Maul's just an epic, so much easier to build. So I feel like for a lot of people, he might be fun and exciting, but for me, he's just simply a experience booster in my experience runs. And I mean, I'm at the point where my account is fine to waste some skill dust. It's okay. But if I wasn't, I would have regretted putting these skills in and starting to build him out because there's so many marksmen that are great. And there's so many epic ones that are great. Like that we can use for Gear Raid 3 and especially getting her. I just don't need Razak at all anywhere now and it's a little bit sad.
Okay, that's an interesting one. First of all, I agree and I disagree. Number one is first of all, that's a low blow saying you regret the dust. I thought you were gonna regret the crystals, but you regret the dust.
I don't think I went that far. I think I stopped before I got to crystals. So
you regret the dust. That's low from a man, but no. But that being said, I think first of all, I cannot deny the Maul comparison and the epic comparison. So that's like it's tough to argue that, right? Because even in Gear Raid 3. You know, that's where, for me, that's where Razak, other than like EXP and Gold Raid and, you know, Void Rift, I guess, tied in some areas, depending. Like, he can be solid in all those areas. And I really like Razak. He actually grew on me. I had the opposite experience as you. Like, at first, I was like, eh. And then people in my comments were like, no, you got to give him a try. So I actually built him. I invested in him. I didn't all the way skill crystal him up, but I did use a couple skill crystals. That being said, Gear Raid 3, he's a monster. Like, have you used him in Gear Raid 3?
Yeah, but I don't need him. Like, I have Silas.
That's the problem,
plus,
right? And that's
like it depends on who you have. Silas is like he's Silas, and
well, he's like a side guy. He can cover either of the sides.
Maul can cover the side.
I know.
You wouldn't use him. I don't know. I can't see using him instead of Maul. Maul's so good at it.
The only case, so that's what I was going to say. I was going to say he's a beast in Gear Raid 3.
If you have
the only thing you can say against him is there a few. I will say this, though. When it comes to Gear Raid 3, you can run him and Maul like to cover both of the sides.
Yeah, you definitely can.
So that would be, you know, one use case that we found
Except
for him.
Except when you get to stage 19, he's useless to run on the other side because you have that weird.
But what you can do is you can face Maul to the right and then put a Dolores
as
next to him.
Coverage,
and then have Razak on the left. But still, you know, I see your point, but he's cool. He's good in arena. Like, you know, he's good in arena.
Yeah.
You're not buying it. You're not buying it.
No, it's just, I don't need him. I feel like I have so many marksmen. Like, if you get to that point where you have the ability to choose or where niche things like this really comes into play in the harder stages, he just becomes irrelevant. And that's for me.
All right. You're hard on my guy, but
I know.
You know, maybe you'll disagree with my next one.
Okay.
I got Aylin. So
yeah, ooh.
I don't know if you did a lot of content on her, but like for me, she went under the radar. I didn't see many people talking about her.
I wanted her bad.
Okay. I mean, this to me, Aylin is my Razak to you, right? It's like, it's not that she's trash, but she's got this really cool range that goes all around. Like picture like a Dolores +1, you know, all around, right? So that's really cool. She's all about the healing. So she's got a really big and unique range. Her range is a little awkward because instead of a square, there's 4 tiles removed from the sides, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, unless you awaken her, which would be amazing. She has a massive range.
Oh, does she have
huge when you awaken her? It's insane.
Okay. Fair enough. That being said, though, the thing about her is she's just a great healer, but in my opinion, at least without being fully awakened, like Vortex, she's not as good as Vortex. And all she really does is heals, nothing beyond that. She's not buffing. She's not getting more damage. She's not rage regenning. So to me, I mean, that's it. You know, like I've got healers. So honestly, I don't know. I just, you know, I don't need a new legendary healer. I regret especially promoting her. I know it's not that big of a deal, but I grinded stupid promotion raid and I burned 2,000 energy or whatever. And then I was like, okay, I'm never going to use you except for in faction trials. And so I regret building her.
Yeah, for me, that's my, like, I would probably feel the opposite. I'm like, no, but I want her so bad. I love her. Because I
But
have seen,
why?
because she can pump out insane heals and she does bring a little bit of damage mitigation. I understand that it's not like that's all she does is heal, but that's okay, I feel like. But maybe to be fair, she's kind of like Razak in one, it kind of takes some awakenings on her to where you can really be like, okay, now she's a beast. Like this, further in, is it this one? Yeah, reaches the max, the healing range will be extended. She gets this massive square
Yeah.
all around her. It turns into like a huge square. And at that point, she's just covering so much area that I really, really love the value in her there, especially. But maybe that's it. Maybe it's like
I love the
Razak, I
value.
love at Awaken 3. Maybe maybe I wouldn't skill her up fully unless I had her Awaken 3 as well. Maybe that would be my caveat and
The thing
somewhat
is
agree.
though, like when I look at legendaries, first off, I don't even look at them awaken unless like a Volca where I know I can get a soul stone or something like
Yeah.
that, you know? Other than that, I try not to project. That being said, though,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I'm not gonna argue. Like, listen, great healer, but like, don't you run into this
That's
same
it.
problem that I do? Is that every healer I feel like Vortex is
I
kind of
use
better
Vortex.
than you
I
know,
always
like
use Vortex more than any other healer. It's true. It's
yeah. So
true.
like that's the problem. And even like Sadie, for example, I have right. Sadie, at least, like you're right, she does have a 10% damage mitigation,
But it's
Aelin,
not much,
but
even with the
but
books. Yeah, the
yeah,
books could do a little more.
so if I like at least Sadie, who's kind of similar, at least she's got the big like that special ability
Yeah,
that allows you to
big
clear
damage mitigation.
help you out in Gear Raid 2, for example. But Aelin, she's just lacking that extra for me that really
That's fair.
makes me excited. But anyway, I've spoken enough about her. Hey, if you need a healer and you're just lacking healers on your account, then of course she's gonna help you, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she is a little bit one of those polarizing. Most people are agreeing with you, I think. I don't think a lot of
You think
people put
so?
her as top tier. Yeah.
Okay. What about last question then on her is like I think the nail in the coffin for me is attack-based healer. If you're gonna be an attack-based
Yeah,
healer, I want you to be really freaking give me some inspiration.
that's
Give me,
true.
or
Yeah.
give me something, really special in addition. Otherwise, give me Vortex. Anyway, who you got next?
That's fair. All right, I have another one who, again, I didn't fully skill, but it's one of my closest that I can say for the regrets. Is Nyx, and a lot of people love Nyx as well. I know I'm
Ooh.
hating on the marksman today, but it's
Yeah,
not
you
that she's
are.
bad. She is good. She has great AOE damage. She can be very strong for Gear Raid 3. But just in comparison, when you have a fleshed out roster of marksmen, I can't see fitting her into it. Like I have, again, I like it's Silas, it's allow. I'm talking about Gear 19 and above. Alaura, yeah, Silas because of the boost from Lunaria. Who I mean, Lunaria is great to have as well. She brings a lot to the table, so I actually fully awakened her. And I'd rather have someone like that in the team that enables everybody else to be better. And then I don't know, I couldn't do it. Like Maul is still perfect on the right side. Maybe I'll find some more use for her in the future somewhere else, but I just don't I've tried her for like brief moments in Gear Raid 3, but overall I just have used her very briefly then never again and I'm like, why did I even I don't know. I didn't need it. I
Okay.
didn't need it.
Nyx for me, I hated on this hero for a long time. She was always on. I would have agreed with you a month ago. I would have been like, yeah, I agree. She's meh. But this is sometimes all it takes, and this is a very niche situation, Ivy. But it was like one of the final stages of faction trials, right? And I don't know if you can picture the Piercer faction trial offhand, but it's the one with the toxic spiders that blow up. That
Yeah.
stage. So she was the only one on my account who could consistently kill those spiders before the clock ticked off, right? Just utilize, and that was what kind of started
Okay.
my 180 on Nyx. I was like, granted, this is just piercers, so it's not like there's a limited amount of heroes here that I'm comparing her to. It's the most niche area of the game, but I was like, wow, that ultimate is insane in terms of damage potential. Obviously, like a lot of heroes, to be fair, but like it's rather gear intensive too. You have to swap on some like really nice gear, but she can just absolutely decimate. And then I started using her in Tide a little bit more too, because I'm like, well, if she can do that crazy AoE damage in Faction Trial, then maybe she can do it in Tide. And then she was, depending on stage, obviously, she was starting to pop up as one of my best damage dealers in Tide. And I'm like, okay, you know what? It's not everywhere in the game. And to your point, she can
Yeah.
shine in Gear Raid 3 too. But there's quite a few marksmen who can. But now at least I don't regret her anymore. So maybe you'll have a similar
Okay.
experience. But I agree. I don't think for her cost, especially, I don't think she's like a top tier marksman. But that being said, I'm
Yeah,
coming
she's
around a little bit.
expensive to place. She is 22
Yeah.
as well. It's like
Yeah.
Razak, another one. Like they're kind of expensive. At least Maul gets. I know Maul gets the cost reduction with Awakening, which is a lot easier to awaken him than it is to
It was
awaken
epic.
them.
Yeah.
So again, another
Yeah.
one that's when you're doing stuff like Gear Raid 3, especially those initial placements, the timing is so important. So it just takes too long, and I was able to use the others and really value some of these OP
No.
epics that I can't imagine doing it without. So, yes, I know I'm talking about Gear Raid 3 a lot, but maybe you're right. Maybe the faction trials, I haven't even tried to push that one too high. She'll come back into play for me, which would
She
be good.
might.
I
Yeah.
like when these characters come back into play, even if it's niche content. At least you get some use out of them. But
Absolutely. I'm the same boat. Like I love falling in love with a hero that I previously didn't
yeah.
like that much. But yeah, she's really cool. She was my second like I think I have like two or three, but she's my second fully awakened legendary. So I'm
Okay.
also biased in that regard. That's kind of what forced me. I'm like, okay, I'm building Nyx because why wouldn't I, you know? All right, my last one. I'm really gonna get your viewers to hate me on this one, Ivy. There's no doubt about it. I'm trying to one up you on your Razak and Nyx hate here. I'm going Lightlock, dude. I hate this dude. And I know everybody loves him. I know everybody loves this guy. First of all, I feel a little, what?
I never skilled this guy either.
I was going to say, you don't even have him built, so no big deal.
Nope.
Well, I went all in on Lightlock. I fully awakened, I fully maxed, I fully skilled, I fully everything because first of all, he was one of the first, maybe not the first, but he was like my first 5 epics that I fully maxed out in the game because of you YouTubers. Shame.
Not
Because
me.
I looked out there for like the best epics and everybody was talking about Lightlock. And I kid, right? It's no one else's fault but mine. But he got nerfed like after all those videos were released, and he
Yeah,
just
it
can't
was
do the
really.
damage that he used to do.
Yeah.
So I was very disappointed in that regard. It's like going to see a movie that you have such high expectations. You're like, what the heck is this? So I was very disappointed in that. And then beyond that, like, okay, he does a little bit of attack-based healing, a little bit of damage, and I was able to outgrow him so quickly in terms of the need for him on my account. So, I know he's one of the most popular dudes out there. I get requests for him all the time. I try to bite my tongue and not say anything negative, but here I am. I have some Lightlock hate. What do you think about this dude?
I completely agree. That's why there's 0 skills in this guy. He's level
Apparently,
4.
right?
I do not get the hype for him at all. As a healer, again, another attack-based healer, whatever. We got Medan and we got Vortex. We don't need him. As a damage dealer, we have plenty of options. Hell, Voltus is fine if you need him that long. Getting Iona for the cheap pack early on if you're a low spender. I found him there. Never found a use to like build him. I just haven't yet. Maybe I'll need him as a healer or something. Actually, no, I won't. It's like maybe I'll need him in the faction trials, but no, I won't. I won't. I don't get the hype. And I think, yeah, it was like a previous hype before he was nerfed a bit. That's why people loved him. But I think, unfortunately, that hype has continued and he's nowhere near as good as he used to be. So maybe people are still falsely thinking he's a top tier damage dealer healer, but he's really not anymore. And so I agree.
Like, okay, I'm glad you agree because I'm like, am I missing something? I know. So they went in, they modified or changed or nerfed his Light of Courage, his ultimate, basically.
Yeah, it's like how many people he can actually attack, I think, was changed. Because it was like unlimited. He could just like kill everybody. And it was a lot. And if you built him with a ton of damage, he was destroying everything as a DPS. Yeah.
So there it is. Those are my 3 regrets. Poor Lightlock.
All right. Fair enough. I never got the hype. Sorry, guys. Don't hate me. It's so
Yeah,
account
sorry,
dependent, though,
guys.
too. It really is. If you're a
Yeah.
slower player and your roster is limited, you're playing a much chiller pace, you might need him. But yeah, nope. All right, my final one and my epic of choice that I regret already, which makes me sad to say, is Mariel.
Ooh,
I
okay.
really liked her kit. I like that she's a defense-based healer. It's a little different. Can use some different gear on her compared to
Mhm.
the others because she's defense-based healing. I'm like, oh, that's cool, but it's not a ton of healing. But when you add her Awakening to Awakening 5, which was easy to do with all the pulls we do for epics, it actually improved that quite a bit. So I was like, okay. But I didn't build her until a few days ago. And the reason I built her a few days ago and then immediately regretted it was this hard boss challenge.
Uh-huh.
Because I was listening to the game. The games that I was like, I'm not going to look at other content creators. I'm not going to see what other people are doing. I don't want to know. I'm just going to try it myself. And the game suggested a ground based AoE damage and healers. So I was like,
Oh,
well,
no.
I have constants, but
Constance.
maybe I need more than that. So let me build my. So I put in to be in front of the wall to help slow them down. Completely pointless, completely wasted. I put skill crystals in her too. I took time to promote her, and then I came back to finish recording my video, and I used her, and I got a B plus. Took her out, put a dang abomination in there, and that or like Volca instead is really
Yeah.
all we need. And changed out everything, and now I'm S plus. You know, I really improved with getting rid of that. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't need the healers. You really don't. Not if you have a
Do you
Volca, because she has that self healing, and we're a little bit
do
regretful.
you think that is, so I have not built her. I have not built Mariel. I have no experience. Do you think it was more testament do you think there's other areas that you can use her at all, or are you just kinda, like, over her?
I mean, I think I could use her in faction trials because I remember trying to do so early on. But as a defender that also heals a little bit, she'll be helpful. She'll be better than Camille, you know?
Yeah. Yep,
So
yep,
maybe
yep.
I'll use her in faction trials and not regret it completely. But I definitely regret the time and investment that I did when I was trying to push that content. It was just a first impression, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna follow what the game says. Ground-based healers. Okay, let's go. And then
Yep, yep.
pointless, completely
Right?
pointless.
Well, sometimes that's all you need is for her to come
Fine.
in and avenge herself and help you out in one little area, and maybe you'll come
Maybe
around.
I'll, yeah.
I did that, like, I did Livian, for example, like, she's
Oh, I love
I
Livian, but I don't use her as much as I wish I did. Yeah.
I built her like a while ago and I never used her. And then I used her as well in that same Piercer faction trial that I ended up spending, like, you know how it is. You spend like an hour
Oh,
or
yeah.
2 just trying to get one level down. And then I fell back in love with Livian. So maybe that's what you need for
Yeah.
Mariel.
I will probably use her there too because I like her a lot. But yeah,
Yeah.
Mariel, maybe in the future, but definitely not the way the game presented as needing ground-based healers. You don't need to build a Mariel for that. Don't do it.
Indeed. Note to self, don't invest in Mariel. Gotcha.
All right, well, guys, don't hate us too hard in the comments, especially me. I know I put out some hardy marksmen, but everything is so account dependent. And when you have everything to choose from, the tiers, some people just fall down the tiers. And for me, that was my people. I'm so gonna get hate.
There you go. Don't worry. Embrace the hate. That's what I say.
Oh man. Well, thank you, Ash, for joining me again. I
Pleasure is
think you
mine.
you
Thank
had
you.
some good insight too, even though I think I love Eileen and I want her, but who knows, might have had the same regrets if I did the same, so.
Like you said, though, at the top, it's all account dependent, you know? If you
Yeah.
really need a healer, she could be your favorite healer, you know? So we'll see. We'll see what the people say. Thanks for having me again. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, and thank you for watching. Make sure you head on over to Ash's channel. We will have a collab over there. We have some older ones too to check out if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next video.